クロスディグ1on1始まります。今回のテーマはイランが第4のグローバルスーパーパワーになるかです。まさにこのイラン攻撃によって、図らずもイランの存在感が大きくなってですね、アメリカ、中国、ロシアに続いて大きな大国になっていくんじゃないかという話を今日、中東の視点から、ロンドンのですね、世界的研究機関からゲストをお呼びしてディスカッションしていきたいと思います。3つのポイントに分けて今日の議論を進めます。1つがイラン戦争後の新しい国際秩序、2つ目領土を侵略されたイランの国民感情、そして3つ目新しいイランと新しい世界です。早速ゲストをお呼びしましょう。So Dr. Ali Alavi, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, and could you quickly introduce yourself to our audience?
Thank you. So my name is Ali Alavi,
Yes.
and I'm an assistant professor of College of Humanities, SOAS University of London, which stands for School of Oriental and African Studies, University of London.
Very famous institution.
We have great centers like Center for Japanese Studies, Iranian Studies, and the rest. And I'm mainly focusing on international relations and area studies, including Middle East, Iran, and the Greater Asia.
So I invited you, Dr. Ali Alavi, because we have been covering the Iran war for months and weeks, but the Japanese media tend to focus on the Western narratives like CNN, BBC, New York Times. But today I want to focus on how the other parts of the world look at this war. So we have 3 topics to discuss, and the first topic is about the new international order after the Iranian war. How are you seeing this war so far?
Every war has its own consequences. If I go back to Second World War until now, each war created a new order. And in post-COVID era, we have several wars, but the major one now is connecting to the Japan and the rest of the world is war on Iran, and specifically the crisis in the Hormuz Strait. But it has impacts in 2 different dimensions. One dimension is that it's changing slightly the New World Order. And by putting the United States at the center and also changing this dynamic of the powers in the world, while, for instance, ideational alliances of the Cold War time and post-Cold War time is changing to something called transactional partnership. So that's why United States put tariff regimes on Japan, on South Korea, on United Kingdom, Europe. Literally, the relations are changing to be transactional. In the concept, also Iran war affects the Middle East, let's say West Asian order, and the global order.
Interesting. So there's an article in the New York Times from Dr. Robert Pape, and he's stating that the war is turning Iran into the 4th major world power, which means that United States, China, Russia, and then Iran. Because this war is putting Iran in the position of the center of the universe, center of the world. Do you agree with Dr. Pape?
I think Dr. Pape's article is very interesting. He's touching upon the new world order, and what he's trying to say is the war on Iran, literally instead of weakening it, highlighted Iran's position in geographical importance and geopolitical significance. Closure of the Strait of Hormuz and being able to exercise different maneuvers shows that Iran was a hidden power, and it did not have the opportunity before to unfold that. So Dr. Pape here also mentions the 4 poles, like China, United States, Russia, and Iran. But the other point that I think I would add is the economic issues, because Iran naturally and geographically is a regional order, is regional power, and affects regional order. And now is coming out of the regional dimension and is to becoming one of the powers that have impacts on the economy and the politics of the world. But something I would add is also economic consequences of the war on Iran itself, because Iran wouldn't enjoy to do the closure of the Hormuz because it has impacts, economic impacts on the people on the ground. If we put that into consideration, I think Dr. Pape is highlighting something quite interesting. to look at Iran as a country rather than as only an establishment, which is coming up to be one of the major powers, not, let's say, superpowers, but one of the major powers to be reckoned with.
And this is because they are kind of weaponizing the Strait of Hormuz, because they have now the power to give impact to the global economy, and especially the Japanese business sectors are really worried about it because we rely on national resources from the Middle East. But now Iran has the superpower of weaponizing the Strait of Hormuz, and also maybe in the future they can monetize it. Maybe if you want to go to the Strait of Hormuz, you have to pay in, I don't know, Chinese yuan or crypto, or maybe they can monetize out of this. How do you think of this?
It's not only the power comes because of the ability to close the Strait of Hormuz. I think Dr. Pape wanted to add, but I would add more into this article, is that the power comes with its potentials, because it's the second producer of gas in the world after Russian Federation, one of the major producers of oil in the OPEC in the world. And also, he has 90 million population.
Yes.
Highly
very
educated.
Big company, yes. Country,
highly educated.
Yes.
1,640,000 kilometers square of the land connecting Central Asia to West Asia, to the Persian Gulf, to the Arabian Sea. So this makes the country to regain its potential composure. Closing the Strait of Hormuz is just showing that how many other potentials Iran always had, but they never had the opportunity to unfold.
I see.
So it's not about the closing it, it's about any country wants to have access to the Gulf, to the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Sea and the Hormuz, should also realize that the northern side is entirely in the control of Iran, but also in the mainland there are a lot of economic, financial and human resources opportunities.
So, Ari-san, do you think that it's an irony that President Trump and Israel, instead of destroying Iran or change the regime, it kind of empowered Iran? Do you think that way?
Well, economically it damaged Iran significantly because the attacks on the cities, on the, many infrastructures and all the rest of it. So sometimes some, let's say, threats bring some opportunities. So yes, the war also changed the dimension. Before the war, before February 2026, the West Asia, the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Sea, and the whole region called West Asia, was mainly divided between Iran, Saudi Arabia, the Arab Gulf of the Persian Gulf, and also Turkey and the rest. Now the order is changing. It's becoming Iran versus United States.
Yes.
And Iran, not because of its own political power, but because of the geographical position. That geographical position puts Iran inevitably to be the regional power beyond the region, because it connects West Asia to Central Asia to the rest of the world. So I think the war unleashed Iran's potentials.
Unleashed, interesting.
Yes, so I would say unleashed it in beyond the government, beyond the Iranian state or Iranian establishment, unleashed the Iranian country, Iran as a country, and Iranian people as a nation, unleashed the potentials that were actually underneath of a lot of layers for a couple of decades.
Let's talk about the Iranian people in the second section, but before going to the second section, how about China and Russia? How about the relationship between Iran and China and Iran and Russia? Will it change? Is it already changing?
I think there are some misunderstanding in some of the medias that try to portray Iran's relations with China and Russia quite romantic and loving relations. That relations is changing. The way United States relations with Japan, the Persian Gulf states and the European Union and Britain is changing to be more transactional based rather than ideational. So the relations between China and Iran is more based on transactional, pragmatic, trade-based relations. With Russia, it's slightly different, might be more of marriage of convenience, I would say, rather than romantic connections. So it's going to change that, because when Iran realizes its potentials, And there will be opportunities in the future to deal with the United States and the rest of the world. I think they will get more confidence and regain their composure. So the relations with China and Iran, and specifically Russia and Iran, will be changed. The whole world's relations are actually going through different stages, from Japan all the way to Russia and China. We will have a new world gradually.
New world. Do you think the United States will be isolated?
Well, I wouldn't say United States will be isolated, because now United States is the one that actually running the show, because the war was generated by the United States. So I think we may move towards post-liberal America, which United States try to reconfigure its relations based on transactional connections rather than ideational. And in post-liberal America will be more based on America first rather than bloc or allies. So I wouldn't say US will be isolated, but the formulation of and the nature of the connections between the states will be changed.
Interesting. Let's go on to the second part. We want to talk about the Iranian people and what's happening in the country. So could you quickly give us an overview of the Iranian media, because we're not quite familiar with them?
Yeah. So Iran is a country of 90 million population, and huge young generation, I would say, very educated, thanks to a lot of universities, every cities that they do have, and quite about a few millions in diaspora, which are very successful and engaged in the different sectors all over the world. I would say the society is not homogeneous. They are very pluralistic. Different ideas, different wishes, and different outlook for the future.
Is it diverse or very polarized? Which is
I would say diverse and polarized in terms of ideas, but diverse in terms of the background and in terms of the outlook.
Interesting. Okay.
And also generational elements, because the younger generation, Generation Z or Y they call it, they have their own outlook for the future, more universal rather than ideational. So if you look at this way and see Iran as a colorful with different components, therefore that reflect the media as well. So yes, the media is also they're quite diverse in terms of agenda and in terms of what kind of lines they're following.
So we're showing some graphics of media, like logos. So there's a lot of anti-government or supporting government or neutral. So there are a lot of diverse media inside within the country.
Oh yes. I mean quite diverse. People are very much engaged with the world.
Yes.
And you can see Iran is one of the countries that the Iranian society, Iranian community are very much engaged with the social platforms and social media.
I see.
But now social media is becoming more colorful, like Instagram, Twitter, and the rest.
How about after the war? Are they posting a lot of comments about the war? Or?
Yes, the internet, there is a blockade of internet. So mainly Iranian diaspora are actually engaged with the social media, or somehow inside the country sending some comments. But the media that you're showing me, these are mainstream medias. Mainstream medias, I would divide them to three sections. The one is pro-government, pro-establishment. One is in the middle, center, but again it's fluctuated. And then the other one is opposition. Or anti-establishment.
My question is that there were a lot of opinions inside the Iranian country, and before the war, there were protests against the government. But after the war, how's the Iranian people responding? Because I know there are different opinions, but they are being invaded from the Iranian point of view. Are they uniting, or are they still diverse?
The population is still diverse. As you can see, continuously they try to forge dialogue with the state. So they have a nation versus state debate, and the nation are resiliently challenging the establishment. And every establishment in Iran would be challenged by the society. And because Iran is a country that it has one of the first constitutional revolution in the Middle East, in West Asia, and in whole Asian continent, one of the firsts. So it's a very vibrant in that regard. But then when the war started, one thing for the Iranian population, those are in favor of establishment, or those are against establishment, or those are actually critical about the establishment, but not necessarily in favor or against, these different groups. They are sensitive about the territorial integrity of the country. And this is because Iran historically never invaded other countries, being invaded, and since last 200 years lost many other sections of its own areas. So the map changed to shrink to be smaller. So that's why they are quite sensitive about territorial integrity. When there is a war, you may see many Iranians to be less vocal. But when there is no war, then they will come back again around the table to challenge each other and challenge the establishment and a variety of groups that are there.
So you're saying that there's diverse opinion, but they're just keeping to themselves for the moment because their territories are invaded, or are they expressing their opinions right now?
As far as I read and I follow the social media, they do not keep it themselves. They debate among themselves. And they are around the table to debate what should be done and what is going to be done. But because of the war is happening, so many of the population are just worried about if there is a chaos is coming, if the territorial integrity will be touched, because this is the red line. Territorial integrity for different segments, position, opposition, in favor, against, or in gray zone, not in favor, is a red line. But I would say still the debate and argument, agreement and disagreements are happening, but may not be as very vibrant in a way to be loud, to be seen. But I think it's something that it will be, because debate is there. The population from different segments are very much active and alive in doing so, resiliently.
There's a photo I want to show to the audience, of a photo of Instagram. Could you elaborate on this? I think this is a very interesting photo, and could you explain to the audience what this means?
Yes, this one is pro-establishment demonstrations, because you can see they use the Islamic Republic of Iran's flag, because there are different flags as well. And but here you see they're quite young, two young girls, and one on the left side is let's say like a Generation Z, not headscarf.
Very new generation.
Yes, very kind of a liberal and adapted to, let's say, 21st century Generation Z type of dress code. And the right side is more of a conservative religious, so is covering the hair.
Yeah, she's wearing this.
She's wearing that. So here, the pro-establishment, let's say, media tries to show that when it comes to the war, they try to portray that these two groups that not necessarily agree, but they can come together, rally around the flag. That's how they try to portray.
I see.
They try to reach out to different segments of the society within their own pro-establishment propaganda machine.
So they're saying that there's some differences between these two ladies, but because of the war, they're kind of uniting. But that's kind of a strategy from.
Yes, this is a strategy by the establishment. Try to reach out, try to minimize or reduce the tension between different segments of the society. But then, as I said, this comes from the pro-establishment also media.
So how are the Iranian people perceiving this? Do you think this photo is great, or they understand this is just a strategy or just a photo showcasing from the government?
I think vary, because as I said, society quite not homogeneous. Some part of society are critical about mismanagement, mishandling of the economy. And some people are worried about chaos and territorial integrity, and some are actually supporting the establishment.
I see.
So each of them, when they read this, and some are the opposition. So each these four groups, position, opposition, or critical, or not very politicized, they have different interpretation when they see that as well. But the aim is to reach out to outside their own followers, to bring, say, let's rally around the flag. That's what they try to portray.
Understood. And there's also the photo of the human chain. I think this is the same concept of people are uniting and creating a human chain.
Yes.
Very same concept.
This is a bit even different. Yes, a concept, but different. This one shows they did this around critical infrastructure, like a power plant and energy resources. I didn't see that in any media to do that around the military infrastructure. They didn't. They did that around, let's say, power plant or similar water reservoir and all the or bridges.
I see.
Literally to say, if the war is between two governments, but what is may be targeted, like bridges, power plants, and all the rest of it, may also touch their daily life beyond their politics. Maybe they don't even agree with the Islamic Republic as a regime. So they try to show that human chain to say, these infrastructures are red line, don't do this to these specific infrastructures.
Okay. So how will this war change the perception of the United States and Israel, of the Iranian people?
Their perception towards Iran?
Iranian peoples.
Towards them.
Towards them, yes.
Well, as I mentioned, it depends. No one would be happy to see their country attacked. And therefore, it depends what kind of messages are coming. I mean, when the President Trump, those are critical about the establishment. They were quite silent to see that as a kind of establishment is going to be punished. Those are pro-establishment, actually, of course, supports the government. But then the messages come from the White House also affects the public opinion. When, for example, President Trump mentioned a civilization is going to be wiped out, or I will take them back to the Stone Ages, that actually did affect the even gray zone, which those people are not necessarily support the establishment or don't support the government, feel that civilization and the Stone Age are not actually related to the government or to the regime, relate to their own life as well. So they started to feel a little bit worried, the anxiety.
So that was like a turning point, the comments from President Trump, like wiping out the whole civilization.
Yes, creates anxiety.
Of course. So the third point, the new Iran and the new world. So President Trump is saying that he will wipe out the civilization, and this war has placed Iran into a global spotlight. What will be the future of Iran?
I think the war and closure of Hormuz, it created a new reality. The new reality for the world. We are in Tokyo and we have faced that closure of Hormuz and we can feel it. And we will feel it even later. And in London the same and the rest of the world. So I think the war highlighted highlighted the potentials of Iran as a major regional power, as a country that has a lot of potentials to be reckoned with, the country that has been always sidelined, and the world tried to ignore it, but now they cannot ignore it because they can see that actually exists, and its presence can be very positive in the world order or can be disruptive. So I think that highlighted the importance of Iran. Iran as a civilization always existed for thousands of years, the relationship with Japan for hundreds of years. But I think that actually reminded many people that are not necessarily politicized or following the international relations, that the country called Iran exists and is in the middle of very important part of the world in Eurasia, and is a part of the Greater Asia, and they should recognize its significance and its role. So I think that's the war gave us a lesson.
So the world has to pay attention to Iran, but at the same time, Iran has also paid attention to the world. So do you think they will kind of relax its traditions or religious culture, or do you think they'll become more conservative? How will this war change?
I think Iran never been isolated socially, because it's been in the middle of connecting Central Asia, West Asia, South Asia, and historically like a crossroad for different cultures, be it from the Silk Road time all the way to modern time. So I think what the world didn't pay that much attention always is that the world was many. Imagine Iran and Iranian nation as an isolated entity, or they want to be isolated for conservative or religious ideas, which is not the case. Actually, Iranians, as a population, I'm talking about a nation, Iranians inside and in diaspora, always wanted to be connected to the rest of the world.
I see.
Culturally, in terms of education, economy, businesses, and politics. But always been sidelined because of the politics and sanctions and all the rest of it. So I think what we will see in post-war will be more Iran to be engaged with the world.
Interesting.
So what they want to be, they want Iranian nation, want to come back to the global market, come back to the energy market, come back to the global stage, to regain their own position as the hinge and the linkage between Central Asia, West Asia, South Asia, in the middle of Eurasia as a part of Greater Asia. So I think that's what they try and want and wish and moving towards that direction when I say as a nation.
Do you think the culture of Iran will change? Maybe their outfit will change, or how they look, the music, pop culture. Do you think that will change also?
Already
changing.
Yes, already
okay.
Changing. And Generation Z are actually more connected. You can see they are very IT savvy, very engaged with the internet, with the social media, with the rest of the world, engaged with the universities around the world, and then also society. Even though you may find some conservative elements strata of the society, but they might be conservative individually, but when it comes to connection with the world, they're very hospitable, very open. So I would say the world is missing that connection.
I see.
But Generation Z, exactly the same as Generation Z in Tokyo and London, are actually want to be connected to the world.
And the world will realize
yes,
that. Yes,
and moving towards. They already moved toward that direction, but I think the world didn't see it that much because of sanction became a kind of a blanket that they didn't really see the Iranian nation.
Or maybe we had some stereotypes and didn't look at the...
Exactly.
There were some anti-regime protests before the war. So if the war were to end, do you think the protests will start again, or how are you seeing this?
It depends. Many things are connected to also economic situation and managing the country and governing the institutions. So there is a part of a debate between the Iranian nation and the state, which started in 1906 during the Constitutional Revolution. So wherever nations see the establishment, the government or any regime moving towards a direction that they are not satisfying the public demand, they will request the establishment to answer. So there are sporadic demonstration protests for a variety of reasons. I think that was and will be part of the debate between the state and nation, but maybe the language may change. It depends how the economy will be managed, if the sanctions are removed, and how the situation goes. But I'm sure the society is very diverse and alive and lively, and then they will force that dialogue with the state and with the establishment, whatever is.
So it depends how the war will end, and also how the economy will turn into a new stage. So Dr. Ali Alavi, for final comment, final section, we talked about the new international order. Could you wrap up and give us a final comment? How the world is turning Iran maybe into a major world power, how the international society will change from now on. Final comment.
I think United States is trying to reestablish the world order to post-liberal American order in a place that relations are less ideational alliances and more transactional connections. Tariff regimes on Japan and South Korea, United Kingdom, EU, all is part of that picture. rather than having very much a part of a West versus the rest. It will be more of every state to pursue its own interest. So that new world order brings opportunities and obstacles for the nations around the world. But in the post-war 2026, and I hope war will end soon, yes. And the world, every wars, yes. I hope they will be over very soon. I think the new world order will be more of transactional.
Yeah.
And Iran, in this new world order, no matter what direction the establishment will go, I think will be one of the major powers to be reckoned with, not to be forgotten, to be sidelined, or to be ignored or marginalized. And that also creates opportunities for countries like Japan to reconnect with the region, see the Middle East as West Asia, not Middle East.
West Asia.
West Asia as a part of Greater Asia, I would say. And let's say as a part of Eurasia. It's an Asian family that there are a lot of potentials out there. But as I said, the New World Order is bringing a new dimensions, transactional connections rather than romantic, ideal world that we had during the Cold War and post-Cold War.
So thank you, Dr. Ali Alavie. I think I learned so much, and also our audience kind of gained a new lens to look at this war and also the new world order. And I hope this war ends soon and after the war. Thank you so much, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.